So, before I get banned from another physics group or forum or whatever, see, there's this question on Facebook they've been posting. Why is gravity so weak? Well, it's not that it's weak. And since I wrote a gravitational field model that constitutes the foundations of mass energy equivalence, the fun thing is, so that's the question. Why is gravitational interaction so weak in this present day and age? So the key question there is this present day and age. And in my gravitational field model, I'm so proud of that because it took me so long to figure it out. And the equation's so simple and elegant that everybody missed it. Because, people think that they need to fill a chalkboard with equations. But then you look at E equals mc squared, and that inspires a lifetime of thought. So I wanted to be like that. I didn't care about filling a chalkboard with equations. I have a whiteboard with all my old relativistic structuring for the unified field model. However, gravity. See, the thing is, this present day and age. So, why can a feather in a vacuum fall at the same speed as a rock? And obviously, it's mass energy equivalence, right? But how do you equate that? So, when I was studying physics, back when I started, I was so mad at Richard Feynman. I got so pissed off that he wouldn't tell me that he told the camera, but I took it personally. You wouldn't understand how magnets work, basically. And so, I just had to go out and walk. And that was the best time of my life. Walking to the grocery store just thinking about physics. And sort of like Beethoven, he would just walk around and compose in his head. Some people have like an internal dialogue, other people have like this theme music that they create for themselves, or you feel nature and it's the same stimulus and it's all conceptual. But gravity, it's never weak. It's the reason why we all experience it is it's so simple. Mass divided by density. No. Volume divided by density is probable to density divided by volume, which then creates two states of mass. And this is a new energy mass equivalence. And so then you take those two states of mass and you do the same thing. And you subdivide. And what it does is it creates this just understanding of why gravity, no matter the mass, has the same energy equivalence based on space-time and its relativity too. It's all relative. That's why I use probability. And that derives down into quantum probability. And then it unifies the fields. And, but my gravitational field model, that's my favorite thing. Like, that's so elegant and simple. All it took, what do they call those things that draw circles? A compass? I don't know what they call them anymore. I don't even know where mine is anymore. I had a really nice one. It was German made. And, it's got like a needle and a pencil, and then you can string it out. Or twist it and it expands and contracts. So you have this mass energy equivalence. Now, Einstein took it a little bit further into, constant velocities. But the thing is, he never really derived the difference between quantum mechanics and relativity. There's that little bit right in the middle, and it's quantum probability. And that's what I discovered. And it's that, so you take your volume and you divide it by density. You could call it potential energy, you could call it space, a universe. You have your volume divided by density. And then you have your density, a singularity, an atom, and then you divide that by volume. And then you have a probability of interactions, of potential of energy, and what else was I going to say? I had something else I was saying before I derailed my mind right there. Anyway, so you have two states of mass. And this leads in, there you go, quantum atmospheres. That, see, I wonder if Sabrina Pasterski isn't going into this with celestial holography. But these are my original theories. Like, I taught myself this stuff, so I don't have anything to gain from pretending. Nobody's watching these videos being like, oh, let's give that guy $1 million and a piece of metal. All I want is an honorary PhD. Like, let the people that strive for so long. For me, it's a hobby. It's just what my brain loves doing. I think partially because I'm on the autistic spectrum that it's like my special interest or whatever they call it. That physics is something that has helped me connect to reality. And now I suddenly want a pizza. But, so, celestial holography, that'll lead into gravitational mirages. She's doing correct work. She's awesome. And, it goes into that. And then you have to wonder about gravitational field mirages, gravitational planes. And it has to be a constant radiative force. Otherwise, how the hell? It's not just acceleration, right? Because a feather and a rock can fall at the same speed in a vacuum. It's too strong. Anyway, so gravitational field mirages are shifting frequencies on planes of how particles react and how our reflexes or instincts or our sensory perception all sort of modifies. It'll be derived from celestial holography. I can't wait to read her work. And anyway, so what the fuck was I? I was talking about gravity and how. Where's my notebook? I love this thing. It's so old now, though. Did I burn it? That's weird. I haven't been in this book in a while. Mass energy equivalence. So thanks to Albert Einstein rationalizing a theoretical constant, this is all in pencil. I should have wrote it in pen. So you have a very simple drawing. This is the drawing I've shown it in other videos. And then you have a representation of how the function happens between those 2 points. And so you can see quanta forming into radiative states that impact well, people call it like space-time, but it's just a quantum atmosphere. And that warps then based on mass to disturb the field. And so how do you get to the point where you can disturb the field? And so you can see all those like squiggly lines. That's trying to demonstrate how the field compresses and it transitions to a larger force that then pushes. See, it's not pulling. It's like curving a soccer ball. You know, you can hit a soccer ball and it can curve in the air. Why does it curve? I mean, I know why, but anyway, so it's traveling through the air and it's curving, right? The best soccer players can do that. Depending on where it hits a post, it could reflect this way, that way. It can hit the, larger margin behind the perpendicular structure of the field and reflect into the goal. All physics is relative, right? It's funny how you can learn so much just from a soccer ball. And so, to describe it then, and further that, you look at the structure of the soccer ball, how it's patterned to create a sphere that, when it compresses, the tension of the threads, the aerodynamics, how it reflects off the foot, causes this aerodynamic structure. I learned this when I was a kid with beach balls. So I would spin them this way and throw them, and they would fly in a straight line. And that taught me a lot about aerodynamics when I was young. Probably around 8 years old. It's about the last time. And anyway, so this experiment that I want to conduct, I don't know how I'm going to do it without a radioactive noble gas, but I'm considering neutrinos. And I think I weeded it out last night that it was impossible, but because you'd have to measure integer spin and formalize radioact. You need radiation. So the whole theory is based on how you create the stabilization, because the universe should be still in theory. Everything should just never fucking move, right? Everything should be stalled in time. So logically, since the universe is expanding, and some scientists say it's accelerating, maybe it will contract. That's plausible too. We don't know. And I mean, if we live in a dark matter sponge, a parallel universe, which would be just another, like our universe, another universe, dark matter sponge, if this decays, like depending on the volume of that versus this volume, based on my gravitational field model, could be catastrophic. Our entire universe could just collapse so fast that you wouldn't even know what happens. And it's very scary, but there's no need to panic right now. I don't think anyone. The only thing that we could really do is just learn how to store energy. And I think potentially that's why there's so much uranium and lead and all this stuff, is that we're storing mass. But you need quantum probability and singularity and then quantum decay so that we can, because you still have to push it back out, right? You have to restore the layers over time, and then that increases the quantum probability of forming molecules and atoms and the Standard Model. And that's for the future. That's so far ahead. You have no idea. Anyway, I know the experiment would be right. There's no other thing. I've been right so far. So we live in this dark matter sponge. There's Hawking radiation with black holes. There's Hawking radiation. And the only thing that you can rationalize is what the event horizon does to create these two states of mass. So then you get into subquantum physics, where a singularity, we pretend that it is infinitely dense. But the singularity should be the fundamental value, except we can't understand why there's Hawking radiation, how the Standard Model forms. CERN doesn't even understand how there's unstable subatomic structures that form. I think the last time I read it was like 54. And I was working on a theory of how to predict that. And so I derived it's so simple, it's beautiful. Volume divided by mass is probable to, not volume divided by mass. Mass divided by density is probable to density divided by mass. Doesn't matter if you switch them around, it's all probable. So there's relativity, there's probability, and then we have to find the fundamental value and get rid of infinitely repeating numbers. And now I want a pizza. I'm going to drive to town and be like, I don't want a pizza anymore. I don't know. I got this like sesame shrimp stuff in the fridge, and I've been waiting to want to eat. And it is only 8:30 a.m. God, I hate being up this early. I love being up at 4 p.m. and waiting for midnight and 2 a.m. And I had some really weird dreams last night. It's pretty rare that I'm defeated in my dreams. There's these green-ish people. I don't know what you call them. They had like this underlying layer of red because they were bleeding inside, and the blood was coagulating, absorbing into their skin, but their skin turned green. They had these parasites in them that could control their bodies, and there were hordes of them, but they were still alive. So you could kill them, but they were very intelligent. And they had heightened senses, and it was sort of like a hive mind, too. If you killed one, then the parasite would climb out, and it had these weird spikes on it that produced this venom that had eggs in it. And so if you touched it, if it punctured your skin, you'd become infected. And they were fast. Oh my god. They were so fast and squirmy and like all I had was a machete. I had a group of allies, but they all start dying off one at a time. Tells me with a group barely left, holed up in a home, and then the fucking zombies come. So it wasn't just the parasites. Once you killed them, depending on how you destroyed the brain or the body, so you could kill them through the chest, then they would come back as fucking zombies. It's gnarly. And the zombies were smart and aggressive. And I just woke up at 5 a.m. like, I am done dreaming for tonight. I've been through enough. That dream was intense. Like, I love my horror dreams, but holy shit. They get weird sometimes. There were these like weird octopus monsters wearing shells as armor. I can hear their sound again. Like they made this weird sticky slushy sound. And oh, what a hell of a fucking dream that was. Still better than the dreams about my ex-girlfriends. Fuck it. I love a good horror. Except my brain will fucking live one. Like, I will live a horror when I sleep. I don't know what it is. It's been happening to me since I was little. One of my first, I remember vaguely now, but there was this witch that was hunting me. And she trapped me in a shopping cart or something. And shopping carts open up like this for some reason. Or they used to. I don't use the large ones. I don't know anymore. And why do they open up like that? For kids to crawl into? But That's my earliest dream I remember. I was like 4 years old. That was a nightmare. And then Jurassic Park comes out. I'm being hunted by T Rexes and Velociraptors. And like, uh, what else has there been? So many. What was that movie I just watched with brain computers? Oh, yeah, it was about meth addiction. Similar to mine, but see, I had this dream that I want to write into a film, but I don't know how to do it. That's why I'm trying to figure out this other comedy so that, because that's more basic. I'm not gonna like throw a Hail Mary and try to figure out something that I probably can never fucking do. Is that I figured out one of my equations. And when I dream, I actually see numbers and letters and stuff. I don't like it's you're not supposed to be able to. Normal people don't. And like I mean, I'll actually like read books or sometimes or it's actual coherent fucking stuff. And so I figure out my equation. It's right there on the board. And I win a Nobel Prize. But then an alien race has been farming us. They come back, they pretend that there's a utopian society. The utopia is them without imagination. So they're complacent, right? So every person on Earth has their own idea of what a utopia is. It's all self indulgence and self righteousness and hypocrisy. However, that's my philosophy. But the dream, so I like, wow, I'm so special or whatever. And so I go with them and they offer it. See, that's the thing, is that you are always offered it and you accept it. And so I go, and it's like a Twilight Zone episode after. And they're harvesting people's brains for imagination computers because the species lacks the imagination. That's what created their utopia. Is that everything is the same. There's no diversity, no imagination, no creativity, no art, nothing like that. We live in what some people might consider a dystopia, except technically this is utopian for an ideal of diversity. That's our world, this reality, for us anyway, at least I imagine. And anyway, I end up, fighting them all and killing them all and all that junk. But anyway, back to physics. Hmm. Because I know the experiment that I need, but how do you actually do it? Hmm. Anyway, I went way overground.